representative's office here? That's a possibility. West Avenue gets a lot of traffic.
I like that.
Yes, the point was our state representative has his office at the corner of West and Ganson. That absolutely should be a place where even one person standing out for an hour in shifts, or a couple of people, just as long, keeping that focus. People will see you and know that we are still active and we are still doing things.
I would like to know how we can go on a campaign, maybe getting on television, on JTV, on Bart Hawley, and elsewhere to change the image. While I was driving here on National Public Radio, not Fox News, they were talking about this, and we're all leftists and fringe and this and that. And I think if they could interview people here who, who we really are, that's essential.
The first thing is, we can certainly behave the way we should behave. We can control ourselves, for starters. Absolutely.
Certainly better than Congress controls themselves.
Yes, ma'am.
We really want to put herds to Wall Street, shop your local merchants this holiday season.
I like that idea.
We could get a national organization all over the country to boycott. I mean, they would wake up in a hurry.
And it's not just the companies that need to wake up, we need to wake up.
Occupy your
Stop buying products that's not made here.
Good question. All I know about Occupy is what limited things I see on TV and the radio. So I'm really not, obviously everyone here is more versed in it than I am. I just come down to basically see what was going on. You talk about economic justice, but that doesn't mean anything to me. I need a more definitive type of answer as far as what is economic justice, and also the companies that we're talking about Wall Street. Are we talking about all companies across the board? Are we talking about specific companies? And how do we determine whether they are bad or good? And is that the only focus is just corporations, or is it in fact government, which is what got them in that particular position? So if you could comment as far as economic justice and what exactly is Occupy about? What is it trying to do? I'd like to back that why I'm here.
Sure, absolutely. Economic justice is a pretty simple term for a wide variety of problems. There's no question about it. And you're also correct in that it is possible that some of the firms on Wall Street technically didn't have anything to do with this. You are absolutely correct. But we do need to understand how badly some of these big banks, the JP Morgans and Goldman Sachs, what exactly they did that was so horrible that we are not being told about, to be honest. We need to first be aware of that and understanding exactly how did they screw up the economy and what did they do that we're all losing our homes and seeing our housing prices drop everywhere.
Because we know that the government is artificially inflated the housing market. It wasn't just the banks; it was also government.
It is absolutely. It is true. And I'll make one comment with regards to the difference between the Tea Party and Occupy Wall Street, because I think this is an important difference. Is that if I can speak on behalf of both organizations. I believe that the Tea Party does insist that the problem is government, end of story. Whereas I think Occupy Wall Street admits that government is part of the problem, no doubt about that, but still it is the multinational corporations and the too big to fail that has at least an equal share, if not more, in terms of what we're dealing with today, in terms of what has happened to our economy.
I'd like to point something out real quick, if I may.
The government did not, the guy from AIG that took a $480 million salary while laying off 10,000 people, that wasn't the government. He took a $480 million one-year salary while 10,000 people were laid off. That's not the government.
After they took the bailout.
No, it was before the bailout. Then they asked for the bailout.
After the bailout, yes, and he was under contract. That is a part of the contract. I understand everyone gets upset as far as he gets a bonus and people get huge bonuses from that bailout money. However, that was a part of their contract that they signed with AIG, with the company. However, it was not government's responsibility to give AIG any taxpayer money, period.
And they shouldn't have.
And that's where the upset should be at. If AIG pays him 140 or whatever his bonus was, whatever his salary was, that's one thing. But when government gives the company money, our tax money, that's what we should be upset about. Whether he gets $50 million in his wages from AIG, that's a separate issue. That's what he's under contract for. However, the real issue and what people should be upset is the fact that government voted to give that company a bailout versus any other company around here. There was thousands of companies who went under that didn't get the same bailouts as AIG, GM, Chrysler, everything else. And that is a violation of the Constitution because they did not have equal protection.
But when you pay the top employees $2.5 billion,
It's
$2.5 billion.
It's a part of the government. And that's why people are upset. That's why people are upset because they got the bailout of taxpayer money.
Mic check. I will respond and say that you certainly do have a valid point as far as being angry with what happened with the bailout. Absolutely. What you're skipping at this point is what exactly behavior did AIG do? They were one of the absolute biggest reasons for the economic collapse in 2008 by themselves. Their behavior, it was not forced by government. What they did in 2008, in the lead up to 2008.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah,
That's between 10 million, they took 2.5
Let's
billion.
focus on why we're here.
I think one of the things we need to do, again, besides a lot of crosstalk, which is good up to a point, I think getting on Facebook or other, an email list, getting research and information together so that we can all kind of be on the same page and or raise these sorts of questions in a little bit better of a format to answer them, I think is part of what we need to be agreeing to do tonight, as opposed to actually answering every single question right here, right now. Yes.
I am here because I feel that the populace has to tell the politicians they're our representatives. And they should have to look at the interest of the people as a whole, not as specific people who are giving them money or who have a special interest in the politicians. We're here, I feel, to demonstrate that the people want to be represented in a fair way.
Thank you.
I just want to point out to everybody here that you can point fingers at banks or government or anything you want, but solely this is our failing for not doing something about it sooner.
That's right.
So don't just go home and think it's just going to go away or everybody's going to do it for us. We really do have the power when we come together. We really do. When we don't come together, that's when we fail. We can't do anything really on our own. I mean, we can do a little, but you know what I mean. Our power is in numbers. Most of us don't have huge financiers, things like that. So don't go home and just forget about it. If you really care and you really want to see this country do better in the future, we need to stick to it. That's all.
I just want to add to what he